Voila.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Got a good show getting everyone ready for the weekend. Dan, come on in here. It's always a beautiful day when you cash a 5% darts play, which is a phrase you don't hear very often, but that is what we do here. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I messaged you in language I probably shouldn't use in the show open, but I was rather excited, Andy, that we had a dart 5% cash yesterday. Congratulations to all who joined Andy and the squad there. A great bet there. And the action isn't slowing down, Andy. This is going to be a huge weekend for our team. So we'll let folks know about a great special that's going to be coming up here, folks. But coming on the show here today, the sickness that has been rolling around, if you are sick and watching this show, you are not alone, because I was sick earlier this week. Andy is currently sick as we speak. And Teddy Covers messaged me today to said, I won't be on the show. I can't even sit up. So, folks, it is moving around the nation here. So we were going to have Teddy Covers breaking down some NBA, but Andy, he's the warrior for you guys on the show. Hit that like button and subscribe. Andy's going to be breaking down the games Teddy had. So 2 NBA breakdowns for you, in addition to the props and picks he's going to give you all around the world. I have one of my favorite lacrosse bets of the season. Client play, you're going to get it for free right here on the show. Marco D'Angelo stopping by. He's going to give you 2 plays in college basketball action. VCU versus the St. Louis Billikens. So we have the Billikens on the billing today here, Andy. And then we're going to talk Indiana and Purdue. So we got the Billikens and the Boilermakers, 2 of the best mascots in college sports, on the show here today. But, Andy, I say we get right into it with our man Gianni the Greek, because the man is here. And right before we hopped on, Gianni, you were giving me some college baseball steam, some late steam that unfortunately first pitch has already happened. So, you know, my benefit, Gianni, but it sounds like – go ahead, Andy.
You can live bet.
True.
Yeah.
You could fire it
live
off.
bet it.
Right before I jumped on, like, that's the stuff I don't control because I don't handicap that stuff. So I'd never know when it's going to come in. Tennis, the college baseball, those kind of sports. But when they do, I try to share it as quickly as possible and fire on it myself because they do so well long term. And this just happened to come in while I was sitting ready for our segment. And I was like, can I send it to subscribers? But there's like a 15-minute cutoff till the game starts. So subscribers have time, obviously, to get the play and bet the play. So I couldn't send it out to them. And I was like, hopefully my segment starts before so I could just share it, regardless whether it wins or loses. The bottom line is you try to share as much sharp information as possible. And real quickly, I want to go over something real fast. Last night, had a good night on sides and totals. I went 4-2 on sides and totals. And the props, our NBA props, go 0-4. And it ends up costing me a winning night. But what I always do, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I kind of got called out for it a little bit, like, oh, what, the little more volume. Bro, listen, I have one goal and one goal only, and that's to be profitable when December 31st rolls around. If our goals aren't aligned, I'm going to disappoint you. Like, if our goal isn't the same, you're probably going to get disappointed. Because when I zoom out, what I see, like, and that's what I check to make sure we're running the right way. And I always back test. And I look and I say, okay, over the last 30 days, even with that 0-4, we're sitting at almost up 20 units in props. So obviously the prop guys are doing their job, but it just goes to show you, if you're not managing risk correctly, one bad night, one bad week could wipe out all your hard work. You constantly have to pay attention to managing your risk correctly. Like, nothing is more important than that. And again, the only reason I'm bringing that up is not to call out somebody's comment, but it's to call out the comment because the only reason you would have any issue is if you're mismanaging your risk. Because if you're betting correctly, then you should want as much possible plus EV positions as you can make. You shouldn't want less. You should want more. The only reason you don't want more is if you're not properly funded. You're over betting your edge. It's kind of like me playing blackjack. I know I have an edge. I want to see more hands. I don't want to see less hands. Why do I want less hands when you have the edge? So guys, keep that in mind. Don't over bet your edge. It's going to get you in trouble. No matter how good you're running, you're going to have a bad night, bad week, bad month. I'm sitting it up over 50 units already in 2026, but that doesn't mean we haven't had losing 5%. Doesn't mean we haven't had a losing day. Doesn't mean we haven't had a losing week yet. Even during the most profitable, that's going to happen. So you have to be able to survive that if you're going to profit. Just needed to start that way because we have a big weekend coming up. March Madness is around the corner, and there's a ton of opportunities to take advantage of, but you have to have the bankroll to do so, and you won't have it if you overbet that edge.
Gianni, I'm glad you brought this up. I want to get to your Steam report and go over some plays. But yeah, someone messaged me in our Discord, and I was talking about this exact same thing about what to do with a lower bankroll where your funds, you don't have enough to spray the board like the syndicates and such do. Let's do the Steam report, and then let's talk about it because it was an interesting conversation. Who are we seeing today?
All right, let me give you some NBA that I've given out to subscribers. 536, LA Lakers, -6.5 and 7. 531 over 222 and 223, Milwaukee and New Orleans. Now we got some college basketball for you. 881 Canisius, Pick'em. 872 Iona plus the 1. 873 Wisconsin, Milwaukee plus the 2. And then 892 Purdue minus the 11. Not a big day. I mean, it's a huge slate of NBA, but as you know, it's really tough to bet the NBA day in, day out because of the huge line moves. Again, if you're just using that market to scalp middle and try to earn, it's the perfect market to do so. But if you're trying to zero in on positions, it's hard to handicap because of that X factor of these just huge line moves.
Let's go to UFC here real quick.
Yes,
they just did weigh-ins. I didn't see anything too bad. Sean Strickland was complaining about his weight cut, said he can only see out of one eye. Okay. Earl's medic looked like he needed a medic. His weight cut did not go that well. There's been some pretty crazy lines. I love Carly Judas. I think she wins, but my God, -900. What do you see with these line moves?
Yeah, it's gotten so out of hand, right? And Juliana Miller saying she saw her betting line and how disrespectful it is and how super motivated she is. I think that may attract some money at the window come Saturday, but I'm not sure that's going to help her. I bet Strickland. I'll keep it real. I thought when it got up to like that -240, 250 range, and I was able to get, I think, +215, 220, I had to jump on it just because, again, as great of a run as Fluffy's been on, and as difficult as he is at middleweight because of his pace, that's been Strickland's method of victory. He's used his cardio as his biggest asset. He's been able to outwork his opponents. He doesn't do it with power, doesn't do it with technique even. He just is constantly coming at you. And it's just a tiring fighter to go against, especially when it's tough to take him out of there. And I just want to see how that matches up. Again, if Hernandez is able to just grapple him and wrestle him and hold him down and control him, it's not going to get there for Strickland. But I'm just that, and anything better than +200, I think it's plus EV. I don't think this is a spot where Fluffy wins this fight 2 out of 3 times. So I do like the Strickland side a little bit. The Medic you talked about how awful he looked on the scale. That bodes well for me and subscribers because we went under 1.5 in his fight with Jeff Neal. It's no secret with Medic. Listen, I don't expect him to regress towards the middleweight mean. To his welterweight mean of 50% finishes. This guy does nothing but finish in the first or second round. And I think that's just going to continue against someone like Neal, who is game to trade. So I like that total as well. And another really sharp total, had a guest on my show who helped confirm it because I had a strong lean on it, and it's an opinion I respect. It's the Soriano and Brahimaj. He went under 2.5. That's now juiced, and some books even went to 1.5. So that's a sharp side on that under in the Soriano and Brahimaj side. And then another a sharp I respect, bet 2 dogs. I'll share those with you. I haven't touched them myself, still working on the card, but he did take Dan Ige at plus money and I'm pretty sure it was Medic also that he took it plus money. So Phil Rowe, forgive me. He took Dan Ige plus 185 and Phil Rowe plus 180 also. So those are definitely sharp, solid source.
Agree with most of those. We're definitely on the under in the Medic Neal fight. We're also going to be under on the Spivak and D'Elia fight. We see D'Elia coming out strong, goes for the KO. If he doesn't get it, Spivak probably gets him on the ground. Spivak looks just so bad on the feet. Like if he doesn't get that first takedown, it's like, Spivak's in real trouble.
In trouble if it's standing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the conversation we had last night, guy reached out to me, said I'm interested in plays, but I have a bankroll. It's a little bit smaller. I'm kind of dealt with this because I pulled all my money out of my bankroll last year, so I've been building it up. When you're underfunded, I think, at least my experience, I have to lower the volume. I can't. I don't have. When you're not dealing with a big bankroll, you can't just spray the board in these daily sports. You have to pick your spots. So I lower the volume, but I increase a little bit on what I'm betting until I am in a position to take advantage of more opportunities. What's your advice when people are just starting out, they have a low bankroll? How do you attack it?
I'm going to keep it real, man. And thank God I'm at a site like WagerTalk where I can talk real. And this is why I don't do those promotional videos for those sports books and stuff that want me to stick to a script, because I'm going to tell you how it works in the real world. If you're underfunded, you're going to get buried. That's just how it's going to turn out. You're going to lose your bankroll. That's just the bottom line, because you're going to increase your risk of ruin. It's going to get too high. That's why I'm going to have a free steam room this week on Saturday, 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern. Join me for that. I will go over in detail risk management and why it's so important, and how if you do it wrong, you're increasing your risk of ruin to where you put yourself in a position where you're mathematically a certainty to go broke, where that's not Ace's opinion. It has nothing to do with me. That's just the math of it, because there's two pieces of a puzzle when you're betting. There's bankroll and there's bet size. Bankroll is going to keep changing, but percentage of bet size can't, because once this changes, your risk changes. And here's what I mean. I have a $10,000 bankroll. I'm betting 1% per bet. So my bet size is $100, right? This is 10,000. This is the bankroll. This is going to go up and down. This is 1%. This can't change. But here's the beauty of it. When this gets to 20,000, my 1% bet is now $200, but my risk of ruin hasn't changed. You understand? Because this is increased. This doesn't change. My risk of ruin is still low. This gets to $30,000. I'm now still betting 1%, but now that's a $300 bet. But my risk of ruin is still the same. But here's what happens when I flip it and I start with a $10,000 bankroll and I want to bet $1,000 a game, let's say. Yeah, I want to make a score. Now I'm betting where my risk of ruin is upwards of 90%. It doesn't matter whether I'm working with a guy that's able to hit 6 out of 10 bets. That's not going to help me. He's got to be able to hit 9 out of 10 bets continuously for me to profit betting that bet size. That's the problem when you're underfunded. You put yourself in a position where you're increasing your risk of ruin. That's what you want to minimize. Bro, you have a small bankroll. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't care if your bankroll is $100. This is what this means, that you now just have to bet $1, $2, $5 max. And again, $5 would be 5%. So I wouldn't even do that. I would wait, go to work, hustle. There's so many side hustles out there. Get that bankroll up to $200 and then start betting, because now I could keep my risk of ruin manageable, to where if I am betting only $5, it's only 2%, and even then I want to increase this. I want to keep this low, whatever the smallest bet I can make. If the smallest bet I can make is $5, then I want to make sure I got a nickel here. So go to work, do a side hustle, keep your expenses low. Don't gamble until you put together $500. Get that $500 together, start betting $5. And when you double that bankroll, you start betting $10. When you double that, you start betting 20. You double that, you bet 40. If you don't have the patience to do that, then keep losing your bankroll to your bookie. I'm sure he's gonna love to have you. But this, I'm telling you this out of respect, because I'm on here to try to share the mistakes I've made in my life trying to become profitable and use sports betting as an investment vehicle. And there's no way around it, brother. If you're underfunded and you're over betting, meaning your risk of ruin's high, you are a mathematical certainty to go broke. The only question is how long it's going to take before you separate it from your bankroll, because it's just not sustainable. You won't hit a high enough percentage to survive any cold streak. So sorry to break it to you. That's actually good news, because again, the beauty of it, you could make your risk of ruin 1%, where you double your bank 99 out of 100 times. We control that. Once you have an edge, you control that. But it's all about keeping this consistent, and this will keep moving. But this can't move. That's the bottom line. If you want to make money doing this, it took me so long to learn that, Andy. I did every possible way to avoid that. I wanted it every way but that. Kind of like losing weight. Everybody wanted everything except eating less than you're burning. Like everyone was looking for every other way to do it. Is there a drink? Is there a special diet? Is there? No, it's simple. Eat less than you're burning, and you're going to lose weight. Luckily now it took, probably a couple hundred years, but they came up with a shot. Now people are finding it the easy way, and everybody's getting skinny. They haven't done that. They haven't come up with the shot yet for sports betting. If they do, I promise you, I will roll it out right here on Wager Talk. And you guys will be the first to be able to get the Ace Ozempic. And that'll guarantee you bet size correctly from moving forward. But until Ace Ozempic partner up and come up with our shot, you're going to have to do it the right way. Don't mean to discourage anyone.
The Ozempic of gambling. The Ozempic of sports investing. I love it, Gianni. Listen, we're jam-packed this weekend. We have so many plays. What do you have up for everyone on Friday?
The UFC package is up. 4 bets are in there. The Steam sheet is up with a college basketball best bet. Already fired 3 NBA premiums as well. We may package them up for subscribers. Big college basketball card tomorrow. Really excited about that. Already power rating the matchups. So we are ready to go. And the Steam room will be live and free at 1 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that. We'll go over college basketball. We'll go over the UFC. We'll go over the risk management blueprint, and I'm there to answer all your questions for as long as it takes. I'm there working for you Saturday, as long as we need to be there. 90 minutes, 2 hours, I don't care. I'll be working anyway, so as long as you guys want to hang out and do some damage, I'll be there. A lot of live bets will come in, a lot of actionable information. So come prepared. Come with your leans. I'll try to help you confirm them. Do some damage this weekend. Good luck to you this weekend too, Andy. Good luck,
you
brother.
too, Gianni.
Thanks,
Crush it, brother. Let's have a big weekend.
Appreciate you. Yeah, man.
Saturday.
I was just going to say that Steam room, typically, we know it's for his clients, long-term clients, 30 days or more. Sometimes we let Wager Talk insiders, but in case you just missed how he mentioned that right there, it's free this weekend, guys. So if you've ever wondered what is the Steam room, right after we do our Wager Talk last call, you'll have a little break, a little hour break, and then Yanni's going to be breaking it down for you, going for at least an hour, like you said, sometimes 90 minutes, all the live Steam, your questions and everything. It's free right here on the Wager Talk the Wager Talk YouTube channel. All you got to do is subscribe. So check that out, Andy. I just had to mention that when something's free, we got to mention the freeness,
Yeah, I'll actually be live Saturday as well. Half hour before the UFC. We'll go over closing lines. We'll go over method of victory, props, anything that we learned after weigh-ins, things like that. So good day of live content here. So let me break down these 2 NBA games here, Dan, since we don't have Teddy, and then we'll get to the $300 million man who's waiting on deck here. So let's don't think, Marco, that we weren't going to bring that up. All right, we're going to start with the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. Big number here, Minnesota minus 13.5, over under 239.5. There's no Cooper flag for Dallas. I think they're kind of in tank mode at this point. They have a lot of guys questionable. Dallas is the worst team in the league covering the spread on the road. They're 7-17 ATS on the road, 2-8 their last 10. They've played Minnesota twice this year. They lost by 13 and 24. And I think the Wolves have this golden opportunity in front of them to move up the standings. There's this teams ahead of them with a lot of holes in it. Lakers, Nuggets, they have injury concerns. The Lakers finally got Luka and Reeves and LeBron on the court, but how long is that going to last? The Nuggets are dealing with this Aaron Gordon injury. And the Rockets, I mean, their best scorer just got caught talking shit about his teammates on a burner Twitter account. There's a real thing that happened with the Rockets there. I love the addition of Dosunmu coming off the bench. Him and Naz Reid, Dan, I think that might be the best 1-2 combo in the league coming off the bench. The Wolves, their last 2 games they played, they won by 24 and 22. We see these teams that don't have a lot of motivation to win, and they're not looking very good. So in honor of Teddy, Dan, if I'm playing, I'm laying. Minnesota Timberolves minus 13.5 is the only way that I can look to play this one. We move on to the Clippers, Lakers, 7.5 over under 225.5. Lakers look to be healthy. Luka and Austin Reeves are back. Clippers played last night. They win against the Nuggets. My Pacers traded Mathurin. Mathurin promptly plays 34 minutes and scores 38 points coming off the bench for the Clippers. This one is really simple to me. I don't understand the spread. The Lakers are 4-18 covering the spread against Western Conference teams that are currently in the playoffs or in the play-in. I do not trust this Lakers team to cover big numbers at all against teams that are remotely competent. And if Kawhi plays, this is going to be a competent team. Easy pick for me. Clippers plus 7.5 points with a little sprinkle on the money line. So lay in the big wood with Minnesota and give me all those points with the Clippers. Those are your breakdowns. Yeah.
I love it, Andy. Before we bring Marco in real quick, you mentioned, and we were talking before the show, I mean, we got the 5% dart cash yesterday. It is an absolutely massive weekend for our team here. You know, you got the live stream coming with UFC, and there's a great deal this weekend that you can take advantage for any handicapper. But Andy, this is a great weekend for people to check us out, right?
Oh my gosh. Here, I'm going to pull up what all we have going for this weekend. But the Weekend Warrior. Yeah, it's the Weekend Warrior. We did it for football season, but it going so well, we're running it for all sports. So here, let me pull up what we have for you guys just this weekend. 4% cricket, 4% lacrosse, 4% boxing, 4% rugby, 2% UFC plays. That's doesn't even include any NBA or anything. So these are the sports that we love picking off and giving you guys winners on. We have a lot of 4% plays, so it's only $49. There's no reason to get like one play or just a package. It's $49 to get all of those plays. You're going to get everything. You're going to get our combat sports. You're going to get the rugby. You're going to get the cricket. And yes, the cricket is a little bit of a future. You're going to have to wait a week or so to catch that one. But it's going to cash. It's plus money, Dan. It's plus money.
You love it. Let's ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, don't buy a play, guys. Just get this $49 Weekend Warrior. You're going to get 2 days of all of our best bets. A lot of potential profits on the horizon starting today. So, all right, let's do the graphic.
Oh, we want to bring him in with the graphic? Let's bring him in with the graphic from Marco D'Angelo. I don't know who sent this to us, where it came from, Marco, but this is what's making rounds around social media thanks to our favorite Prez. So, Marco, any tips on how Andy and I can become the $300 million men?
Well, you know what? As soon as I figure it out for myself, I'll let you know, because I got a call scheduled with my accountant this afternoon. He's got some explaining to do because that news article in my bank account, they don't seem to match up. So not lining up. Something's wrong here. And you know, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true, right?
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I think was it Gianni that just Googled like Marco D'Angelo?
Yeah, I want to know what possessed him to even do that. Okay, that's what I want to know. And he finds this article and he started having fun with it, and then Prez and Joe Ranieri just took it to a whole nother level yesterday on their show. So yeah, it's been a fun 24 hours. And then I had to explain to my, to the wife, Lori, that this is fake news. There's no 300
Yeah, she was
million
probably like,
dollars.
what the hell? I saw it, Marco, and I saw it. Prez posted the video, and guys, you can check it out. Best betting show ever. You put in air quotes though, with Prez and Joe Ranieri yesterday on the show. Like Marco was saying, they pulled up the article there, and Prez tweets it out because, of course, in true Prez fashion, that's what he does. And then the first reply under it was your wife going, "Wait, what?" So I was like, Marco's got some explaining to do.
Well, my response to her was twofold. One, I said, see, all this time, when you were making all these Amazon orders, I invested all my money in Amazon. So that's why it's paying dividends.
Smart.
So it's a win either way. And then I said, now that story's out there, you might want to step up your game a little bit, make sure, because we're in Vegas here. I'm not going to say there's gold diggers around, but I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
Oh my God,
that's epic. That's epic.
All right. Well, let's get to a couple of college basketball games. We're going to start with VCU and St. Louis, then we'll go to Indiana, Purdue. But we're going to start with VCU and St. Louis. And Marco, breaking this game down, my first question to you is, when will you be hosting a seminar on how to add $300 million to your net worth?
And does it start with playing this VCU St. Louis game? I guess that's the good question
does.
Here, Marco.
And to add to our buddy, one last comment for Prez. You saw the first comment from his tweet. Well, his reply to Lori was, right now there would not be a better time than to cash out. This would be the time to dump me and cash out. The market would never be higher. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Prez. So this VCU St. Louis game, what I'm looking at here, you got, two teams here playing exceptionally well. No question about it. VCU's won 10 in a row, and St. Louis just had an 18-game winning streak snap on Tuesday night at Rhode Island. Well, you know what I'm going to lead with. That loss Tuesday night at Rhode Island, were they looking ahead to this Friday night game? And this is a spot where St. Louis, they shoot the lights out of the basketball. You look at this team, they are hitting 50% or more from the field in 9 of their last 13 games. Tuesday night was one of them that they didn't. And this is a battle of strength versus strength. You look at the St. Louis offense versus the VCU defense. And normally you hear me say, give me the better defense getting points. But what you've also heard me say a lot on this show every Friday when we break down these spotlight games is I say, if this game was tomorrow, scattered in amongst 130 college basketball games tomorrow, I probably wouldn't even be looking at it. But because it's a Friday night game and it's a spotlight game, this game's on ESPN2, I just think these home teams play at a different intensity level. And I do think St. Louis got caught looking ahead here. I'm going to ride them in this game here. I think they get the job done. These Friday night games, if you watch them, the home crowd just seems to be more intense. It's the start of the weekend. Have a good time. The players are focused. Let me go ahead. What I think is a little bit of an undervalued line tonight. I thought this line would have been a little bit higher. I'm going to go ahead and take St. Louis and lay the points in this one.
Marco, why did you decide you needed more money when you had $290 million?
More
taxes. I had to keep pace with the taxes. This just isn't going to go away, is it?
It's too funny. You've been sandbagging us this whole time. All right. Go to the rivalry in my state, Indiana and Purdue. It's well, actually, the new rivalry might be between my state and the Chicago Bears fan base.
I saw that stuff floating around yesterday as well. It took a back seat to my 300 million, but yeah,
Of course.
that's interesting too. Yeah,
It's one to do.
Do you want me to buy the Bears? You know,
I think build the stadium
or
for us.
do you want them in? Do you want them in Indiana? You tell me, buddy. I'll whatever you want.
Oh, it's a crazy. Let's break down Indiana Purdue, and then yes, we have to tackle this. We have to talk about this. This is one of the craziest sports stories in recent memory. So, all right, but let's do this. Indiana Purdue. Purdue. Listen, they're a basketball school. Indiana is a football school. How times have changed. So we got a huge spread here, and you're liking the dog with the Hoosiers. Tell us why.
Yeah, you remember everything I just said in the last video about Friday night spotlight games and the home team? Just forget about that for this one. Okay, and here's why. The knee-jerk reaction in this game is to take Purdue returning home, looking to bounce back off a loss. They not return home, but they're coming off that big game, and they're playing with revenge to Indiana from earlier in the season. But this is one of those spots where I'm going to look the other way to the Friday night angle, and I'm going to take the road team for a couple reasons. That game the other night for Purdue was a statement game. There's absolutely no question. Playing number one Michigan on their home floor, you want to make that statement, and they failed. Okay, Michigan beat them. To me, when you lose a big game like that, and we talk about it all the time. It's an angle we talk about on Bet On It during the football season. I use it in basketball. I use it in every sport. When you lose one of those big marquee games, it's not an automatic bounce back. You can lose that same game twice. And I think that is the jeopardy here with Purdue. Even though this is a rivalry game with Indiana and they do play with revenge, you're also paying a price for this game. You look at the line. This line is 12. Okay, when they played at Indiana, the line was 4.5. They were minus 4.5. Now, obviously, you switch, home field advantage, home court advantage, I should say, and that you're going to have the higher line here, but not 12. And if you want to look for a line comparison, in Indiana's last game on the road, which they did get blown out at Illinois, they were only getting 8.5 to Illinois. Illinois is ahead of Purdue in the standings. Illinois also just beat Purdue recently, a couple games back, and Purdue's laying more points. It's insane, and it's because of the spot. Everybody's looking for the revenge angle, the bounce back, and let's throw in another classic bet on it. Let's throw in the sandwich spot. Even though this is a rivalry game, they're coming off Michigan. They got Michigan State on deck. I just think there's a bad spot for Purdue. I think they will win this game, but I just think 12 is an insane number here. I think this is a single-digit game. I think it's probably going to be somewhere in the range of a 5 to 7 point game. I'm grabbing the 12 points with Indiana to keep this one close.
Marco, do you still use coupons now that you have $300 million?
Yes. Use coupons. Yes, take advantage of specials anytime you can get it. And speaking of specials at WagerTalk right now, you can get 10 days for the price of 7. That's how you build to a $300 million bankroll, guys. You find spots where you're getting a good product and you can save money on it. There you go. And make money with the information.
Love
Dang.
it. Love it.
Well done.
That's well done, Marco. What do you have up for everybody? What's your weekend looking like?
Well, guys, I've got a 4% play going tonight in the NBA. And one of the things that I want to piggyback off some of the stuff that VR said in his segment, and he's totally right about, how you want to attack, especially if you're betting with volume. And I always say, nobody's way is the end all to be all. Okay. What you have to do is what is comfortable for you. And VR is a volume player. There's no question about that. And he guides you through how to do that. I'm the complete opposite. I go low volume. And an example for you, and it works for me. You know, the saying, you know, there's many different ways to skin a cat, which is one of the most stupidest sayings, because who was the first person that found the original way to skin a cat and then found another? But that's all for another story at another time. But here's the thing. Tonight I got an NBA game. Guys, I'm probably one of the lowest volume NBA cappers at WagerTalk. Okay. I don't have NBA plays every day. But since 2020, I am number one in money one in the NBA, because I cherry pick and pick my spots. And that's how I attack all of my sports. I don't play the board. I try to find the best plays, you know, 1 to 3 plays that are out there for that day, whether that is a hockey play, a college basketball play, an NBA play, whatever. I don't marry myself to I got to have X number of plays in every sport. And that's another way to attack it. And if you're somebody with a smaller bankroll, like you said, Andy, you want to play less games. It's easier for you to navigate the terrain with less games and try to find better games and try to hit, you know, maybe, you know, a higher percentage where you're putting your money concentrated on those 1 to 3 plays. And both of them are profitable. Ace makes a lot of money, but he's going to be the first to tell you too that the higher the volume you play, you're not going to have as high of a win percentage. You'll have a winning win percentage, but the volume will bring that down. But it's because of the volume that you rack up your money. I'm going the other way. Less plays, higher win percentage, you know, a higher return on investment. And if you've got a smaller bankroll, that's what's the most important, how much you can return on the size of your bankroll.
I agree, Marco, 100%. Yeah, I like your approach. Always have. And it's that there's something kind of cool when it's like, oh, Marco's got an NBA play. Oh, we all got to pay attention. So
I do.
Thank you very much, Marco. Enjoy your mansion, your sports betting empire. Empire. Empire is what it said.
Yeah. I'm changing the passwords on the Amazon account for the missus.
Real quick before we turn Marco loose, you know, you alluded to it, Andy. I do at least want to get Marco's thoughts on this whole Bears saga here. You know, like it's crazy, man. And you know, I guess it's not that wild. You know, you have teams who play outside of the state that they're in, but just like the timing of all of this. So in case people haven't heard about it, you know, this Bears relocation to, what is it, northern Indiana. So now we have the Indiana Bears essentially. Marco, what did you think when you first saw it? You know, reactions, thoughts to it? Since we don't get you to rant about wing sauces anymore, I got to get you fired up about something, brother.
Well, the funny part of it is I woke up yesterday to a text from my nephew that lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he sent me one of the memes of Caleb Williams, you know, in his uniform, but then it had, you know, the Indiana Bears. And I'm like, what is all this about? You know, I just woke up. And by the way, you know, I always like to thank my nephews that are still back, you know, in Indiana and Pennsylvania. They love to text me. They forget that I'm 3 hours behind them. So I got that text at like 4:30 in the morning. So that was a great wake up. But it's like, what is this about? And then I had to like look and figure it out. And then I started reading the stories and I'm like, there's no way that the Bears, they're going to let Chicago Bears move out of Chicago, especially now that they might actually be getting good. You know, you think of all, you know, the historic franchises, but then you think about it because it really isn't that far from Chicago. And if they get a brand new stadium, yeah, it could happen. Or is, and I hate to say it for the state of Indiana, are they just using you guys as a bargaining chip to try to get what they actually want in Chicago? And being the situation that we had here you know, how long it took before it became official for the A's to say they're coming to Vegas. Mm-hmm. Okay. They kept dangling that, you know, we put the shiny new stadium out there, that it was going to happen and everything else. But, you know, they never committed immediately. They kept trying, I think, to wait for that, last minute, right before midnight, get the pardon from the governor for the stay of execution to end up staying in Oakland and get the stadium that they wanted. It didn't happen. They went to they're going to play in Sacramento a couple of years while the stadium's being built here. But I can tell you from a Vegas standpoint, we thought we were being used, that this wasn't ever going to happen. But yes, it finally did. So I think, the organization needs, to use everything to their that's at their disposal to try to get the best situation for them. And it is an exciting time for Chicago Bears fans because they are going to become relevant again. You had a good season. The future's bright, but you need a new stadium. And maybe this will get it done. If it's in Chicago, so be it. If not, well, Andy, maybe we'll come visit you and watch a Bears game.
This was not on my bingo card for 2026, with the Bears moving to Indiana. So,
well, Marco, just think you can not only piss off everyone in Chicago when you fade the Bears, now you'll get to piss off everyone in Indiana too. So you get to double. So when you are on Bet On It, telling people you're going to want to fade this team sooner rather than later. Cough, cough. Marco was right. Now you get to piss off even more people when you rip off the Go Bears shirt there.
Well, thanks for reminding me of that and of people being very upset with me during the NFL season. But I will just say this, Andy, and I'll put the offer out there. If the Bears do move to your state, I'll buy the tickets, since, apparently I can afford it, and me and you will go, and enjoy a game together. And then we'll go out for a big plate of wings afterwards. How's that?
Hell yeah. 300 million can buy a hell of a lot of wings. It'll be like that scene in Batman where the guy's like, am I allowed to swim in this fountain? And they're like, no, sir. And he's like, well, now I can because I just bought the restaurant. That'll be Marco with the Bears here.
Love it. So,
Thanks, Marco.
All right, Marco. Thank you so much,
Have a good
brother.
week,
Have
guys.
a great weekend.
Good luck, man. Gotta love it. The gift that will keep on giving, man.
So Dan, let's do some free plays, and then I'll try and give some context, a little more of the inner workings about what's going on here with this, and do I think this is going to be real or not?
Love it.
Let's do your WTF LFG because this is one of your favorite lacrosse plays you've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, last week, really loved Syracuse. It was the 1v2, and we gave that one out for free here, even though it was a client play. We're going to do the same thing. But this time, folks, we're actually going to fade Syracuse in college lacrosse this weekend as they are taking on Harvard. That's right. A little Ivy League stretch for Syracuse. This is actually a little stretch where they're going to be away from their home stadium for 6 straight games. Insane scheduling spot here for Syracuse. And guys, for me, this is just, let me sell Syracuse high right now. Why is that? This is a team who I am bullish on for the year, Andy, but Q's now sitting at 3-0, and all of those games came at home. If you watched the show last week, I told you, this is a team who at home is one of the best teams in sports history. They have one of the best home field advantages there at the Carrier Dome. However, now that they're sitting at 3-0, now they're the top dog. This is the first time since 2020 during the COVID season that really wasn't even a season that Syracuse is sitting atop the country. So this is a spot that they're not used to. Also, head coach Gary Gate, not a lot of folks really think that he has what it takes to maybe make this team a full-on national contender. It's the first time that as a head coach, he's ever sitting with a team sitting at the number 1. So now they're the top dog. They're not the scrappy underdog anymore, Andy. And, you're heading away from home if they haven't gone 4-0 since that COVID season. So it's a position they're not really used to. And if they wouldn't have pulled off that outright win, yes, they did. And the fashion in which they did it, just dominating Maryland, who I think does their best lacrosse towards the end of the year. It's why we liked Syracuse. If that win doesn't happen, this game is a pick 'em. You maybe even see Harvard getting, the home favorite here. There is no way in hell that Syracuse should be laying 3.5 in their first road game of the season, especially a team that doesn't really do all that great under Gate on the road. Last season, these teams played twice, Andy. Both games were a 1-goal game. One Harvard won, and that was the regular season game. And then Harvard also has playoff revenge because Syracuse is the team that knocked them out of the NCAA tournament. Why did we like Cuse last week? Because Maryland knocked Cuse out of the NCAA tournament.
Get it. I love it.
Cuse beat this team in overtime last year, Andy, to knock him out. So I gave you a lot of reasons, folks, why I like this a lot. I told Andy, I'm a flat unit better. This is one that I raised up from my flat unit size. So I like this one quite a bit. Bet responsibly, but take Harvard plus 3.5. And Andy, if you're so bold, sprinkle that 270 on the money line a little bit. That's your WTF LFG.
Love it. Love it. All right. Let's do all around the world with NBA heavy on some player props.
We're not going all around the world. We're going to the $3 million man, Andy.
He can go all around the world. He can Jazz and the Grizzlies. Kyle Flipowski over 12.5 points. We got to take advantage of these tanking teams when they're sitting their starters and these bench guys get more playing time. We take advantage. Utah sitting Nurkic and George, and the last 3 games without them, Flipowski's had 15, 15, and 16 points. He's getting 10 shots per game, shooting 55% from the field, adding a couple free throws, and they're playing Memphis, who's sitting a ton of. They're starting Kyle Anderson at center, which is just it's crazy. So 2 bad defensive teams here. I expect Flipowski to do well. Ben Shepherd for my Pacers, over 1.5 made threes. He's shooting the ball really well, over in 5 straight. He's getting 4 to 5 attempts per game. He went 3 of 4 last night against Washington. And Dan, my Pacers, man, they sat Siakam against the Wizards. We told you to take Washington plus money. Pacers made it close, but in the end, they did the right thing and they lost outright. So the back-to-back, now they're sitting Pascal Siakam and Nesmith. So we were like, it's a little close. We almost won that game. We got to sit another starter. So, but Ben Shepherd over his threes, and then we'll go Trey Murphy over 3.5 assists. He's gone over in 5 straight. He's getting 8 potential assists per game, and they're playing the Bucks, who aren't great defensively. We'll leave it at that. So. All right. Okay. So the Bears moving to Indiana. Here's a little context here, Dan. So we elected a governor, and one of his platforms was he's like, I'm going to lower people's property taxes. And he did, but what they didn't take into account was the big shortfall in the state budget. Okay. And so they lowered taxes. So everybody that owns a house, like mine, I save like $30 a year. Like I'm never going to notice it. But collectively,
I mean, Marco level in no time, saving $30 a year.
Yeah. So where did they take away all the money? They decimated small towns. And this policy was so bad that everyone that voted for it had to have an emergency session so they could vote against it after they saw how bad it was. They desperately need a big win for small towns. That's one of the reasons why this particular administration is going so hard after this. The area that they're talking about putting this in, Dan, is
a shit show.
Yeah, there's no bars or restaurants big. Like there's no area to hold that many people. It's going to take you at least an hour to get from Chicago to this place when you include the traffic and everything. I know it's just on the other side of the border, but there's not much up there. I don't understand why Chicago and the Bears would even entertain this. Like, I think they've already done a lot of damage to their fan base, even if they end up staying in Chicago. But do they keep the name Chicago if this happens?
Yeah, I mean, you don't call the New York Jets the New Jersey Jets, the New Jersey Giants. You know what I mean? Like, San Francisco 49ers play like 7 years away from their stadium, or you know what I mean? Like they should be the Santa Clara 49ers. So I think you can get away with it.
Well, they at least play in the same state. like they're not playing in Arizona. The 49ers.
That's very fair.
Or at least
but the Giants and Jets do. They play in New Jersey. You know what I mean?
That was the one that got brought up, and
because it's not like you're going from yes, okay, they're all the way up in Chicago, but it's not that crazy of a leap, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's surprising to me that the Bears, they finally are doing things right on the field, and then from an organizational standpoint, they're just like, Let's move to Indiana. Screw all these people who suffered on the water in one of the coldest and windiest stadiums forever and ever. And now that we're good, you have to go to Indiana to watch us play.
I mean, Rob is right. It's Hammond, Indiana. It is a shipping port with a lot of smokestacks. Like, it's if you've ever been there, it's what makes the story even more crazy is to think they're just gonna plunk down a stadium in the middle of Hammond.
I mean, at this
Indiana.
point, why not just bring Signetti on as the coach? Make him the Indiana Bearsers. You know what I mean? Change the colors. You know,
the Indiana Bears. And I will also say we're not great with Indiana has not been great with stadiums. We built this new stadium. It was way more expensive than we thought. We spent $200 million on a retractable roof that we never use. And now the story is it's like rusted shut. So it doesn't even work.
Well done.
Indiana. It's twice as much to upkeep as they told us it was going to be. So I'm just saying I don't have a whole lot of faith that my state is going to be able to.
It's going to be able to woo many people.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Could they call them the Chicago-ish Bears?
Chicago, Chicago-like. You know what I mean?
So this is just there's teams moving to new cities, and then we're going to just build a stadium.
Well, if there was any team that it makes the most sense for, it's Chicago, because obviously Chicago style pizza. Is it pizza? Technically, are they the Bears? Are they the Chicago Bears? Technically, they're just a hell of a lot thicker, and it's basically a pie. So if there was anyone that would make it make sense, it would be Chicago and the confusing style of pizza that they would have there.
It is. I mean, you do
Chicago list Bears. The Chicago Bears now with 100% less Chicago.
I mean, I don't know. The whole when I first heard it, I thought, okay, yeah, like everybody. Oh, it's a negotiating tactic. This is a pretty hellacious negotiating tactic to say we're just going to build a stadium in another state. So, yeah, very, 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 very strange. But you're right. This is a very Bearsy thing. Like,
it's very Bearsy.
We finally got our coach. We finally got a quarterback. We got a defense. We're moving to Indiana. Wait, what? So,
they'll just get a Beyond Meat sponsorship, be called the Beyond Bears. You know what I mean? Now we're beyond the border, and we're still the Bears. The same great taste that you know and love, Andy. Now just made out of bugs.
Yeah. Here, Dan, I'm sending you something. If you can download that and pull it up here, I'll go over the promo real quick, and then we'll get out of here, guys. So the Weekend Warrior special, it's $49. You get all plays in all sports. We've got 4% cricket, rugby, lacrosse, boxing, UFC, anything. We have a huge weekend in sports. There is no downtime for us this weekend. So there's no reason to buy just one play, just one pack. Jump on board. Let's partner up. Let's have a big weekend. So, all right, let's pull this up. That is Hammond.
Well,
that is Hammond, Indiana.
Ain't much, but it's an honest living. That's a sprawling metropolis if I've ever seen it, Andy. Are those the Finger Lakes? Is that what we're looking at?
It's just to be
beautiful area.
That's where we're gonna put a professional.
It's a beautiful area. Really looks like Walter White would make a killing there.
AWB is
that's
on
why
fire.
you pick a good pick.
It's just gray all the time. It's just I don't know. It's wild.
It's a seaport. Right. Looks like Texas. It's a seaport. Damn it. There we go.
All right.
Wow. Well, let us know what you think, folks. Should they be relocating? Is this as crazy as Andy and I think? And also let us know what you're betting this weekend, folks. So we'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it. And Andy and I will be back Monday. Fun week of shows, Andy. Feel better, buddy.
All right. Yeah, let's have a big weekend, Dan. We'll be back same time, same place on Monday to recap everything and get you ready for next week. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone next week.